Suavecito, what, Phins up today. Phins up today. Oh, Phins up, baby. Miami, stand up. This is Phins Talk today. Let's go. Sun up over there. Game day on the brain. From the tailgate smoke to the hard count rain. Orange aqua on my back. Crowd shaking every seat. We talking ball, talking heat. Turn it up, feel that beat. Phins talk today. Phins talk today. Phins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Boy, Phins talk. Phins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos. It's Phins talk today. Hey, hey, hey. It's Phins talk today. Who you reppin'? Who you riding? Miami. Who you riding? Dolphins. We break it down, break it live. Every snap, every drive. Hey, Phins talk today. Phins up all day from the 305. We ride that wave. Phins talk. Phins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos, vamos. It's Phins talk today. Hey, hey, hey. Phins talk today.
All right. Good evening, Phins Nation, and welcome to Phins Talk today on the Phins Talk Sports Network. Of course, powered by FTSN and Phins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. I'm Bobby Phins Talk. That's Phins Sammy of Phins TV. And look below, we got the man of the hour, the man with the power, Curtis of Ace per head. Ready to go.
What, twice in 1 week, man. This is a special.
Mr. Ratings, Mr. Ratings, Curtis, Mr. Ratings.
That's right. Look at that. Yes, that intro could get you going. You know, if you can't get pumped after that song, I don't know how could you, but you should be, because guess what? Dolphins football is tomorrow. No more wait. Football's tonight. There's some games tonight, but Phins football finally here. No more talking, no more wondering. It's here. We're going to get to see these guys playing in live game action. I'm ecstatic. I understand expectations aren't great or not there. Again, it's just getting a chance to see these guys get on the field in this new regime. That's what's exciting. Before we get into any of that, let's welcome the crew. First, starting, of course, with the guest, Mr. Curtis of Ace per head and writer for PhinsFaithful.com. Curtis, my man, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm just, I love information. I've worked in many areas, like accumulate information, study information, break down information. The information I hate the most is secondhand information. I hate playing telephone. So I'm looking forward to this game, because then I get to see with my own eyes, and I can, either make the right call based on what I see or get it wrong by what I see, not guesswork. So I'm really excited. I'm way, way more excited to see this preseason game than I've been in a long, long time.
I love that you said that, because it's so true, right? And a prime example is yesterday, right? It was the joint practice between the Commanders and the Dolphins, and you have people saying, oh, the Miami Dolphins got dominated, they got embarrassed, they got what? And then you have people saying, no, it wasn't that bad. And then you have like Omar Kelly saying, it's like, no, they didn't get dominated. So it's like, I know. I'm just gonna say, now we get to see reality compared to what we're hearing. We get to put eyes on the prize. I love that. Sammy, Mr. Petty White. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm gonna start right away with the pettiness. I know Adrian, the chance why we were late. Well, two things. I had a problem with my Bluetooth stuff, and I want to give others a head start just to be nice. So we're starting a bit late. Give others a head start, but we're on our way. We're running. So it's a great night to football's back. Football's back. We're all excited. So let's have some fun tonight on the flagship.
The flagship show. Adrian says, I'm bricked up for tomorrow. Well, there you go. That's a way to say it, brother. Manraj, my man, it's so good to see you. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about who we think is going to win. We're going to talk about position battles. We're going to talk about, our feelings on training camp. Like Curtis has said, right? We're relying on shout out to those who've gone to the practices and the training camps and has
Lucky.
been able to, exactly, but have been so kind to share what they're seeing and what they're whatever. But like now we're going to get to really see it. But we're also going to talk about, what are we seeing at camp or hearing at camp that is getting us pumped up, but what is also kind of concerning us as we get closer to the actual regular season. So we're going to get all that done. And let me make sure, though, Adrian, we got Manraj, we got Tati, and then she gave us 2,200 joules. Oh, look at that. There you go. We got the SoFlo Sports Show in the house. Thank you. Go check them out. Go subscribe. Hit that like button. Yes, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
The first couple of Phins
couple.
Nation.
That's right.
What the? Look, I'm not really hip, man. I'm like an old dinosaur walking into like a science fiction movie with this tech stuff. What is a joule? What's 200 joules?
I don't know either, honestly. I was wondering myself. I'm wondering if she just spent some money. What did she do? What did she send?
I only have 2, so I don't know. I have no idea.
But
Fascinated, man.
But she'll let us know. If I assume she'll tell us in the comments somehow. But thank you for the 200 joules. But thank you for just showing up. For all those who are tuning in right now, whether you're watching on YouTube or X or anywhere else, do me a favor. When you have a chance, hop on over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Curtis, I'm going to send you some Pokemon. SoFlo Sports Show says. I want to make sure though, guys, when you do subscribe to FTSN, don't forget, go to Phins TV. We had an awesome show on Tuesday night, and that's what you can expect through the whole season of Phins TV with the OG crew from the rest of the year. Sammy puts on a great show, and of course that crew. So Curtis and I were honored to be a part of that show on Tuesday night. It was a great show. And of course, go check out Ace Per Head, Curtis's YouTube channel as well. Let me tell you, the best intro in all of Phins Nation. I mean, he got me hooked. Look, Which one?
Oh, I know Sammy did one too. I got Sammy.
The new one is awesome. The new one is amazing. The old one, I'm going to tell you, I told him, he said, I was like, that is freaking cool. Like, I got intrigued. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know about what was this backstory of these characters. It was awesome. Got me interested. But we got Doll in the house who just celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday, Doll.
Courtney.
Happy birthday.
Her coming on in here. DSG's in here as well. It's okay. She used Bobby's. Yeah, that's right. But let's go ahead and get this ball rolling, man. So again, the wait is over. We're going to get real Dolphins football tomorrow night. We're going to get to see the receivers. We've heard a lot of noise on Caleb Douglas, and the noise that what he's been doing in camp. Now we're going to see it in real game action. Even though it's preseason, it's real game action. I am so excited to see Caleb Douglas. I'm excited to see Chop Robinson. I'm excited to see Malik Willis. So reportedly going to get a chance, an opportunity to play. But before I go more into detail, what I want to see, I want to hear from Curtis. Curtis, my man, like you said, you watch.
Make me feel special, man.
Yeah, brother, you get all the flowers, you know. You didn't know I was going to doll you up. Should have shined the forehead and would have been.
I want Sammy's hair is what I want for Christmas. I'm putting that on in my stocking, my note to say it. And get me a Sammy wig and throw that thing on.
So, Curtis, I got to ask you again. You first off, shout out to you with Ace Per Head and what you
Thanks,
do there. Brother. Also, writing for PhinsFaithful.com.
Yeah, they're great. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Man.
So, but you write great stuff, and you put numbers, you put facts, you do all the information. So, I want to ask you. Right after, you don't get a chance to see what everybody's seeing, right? And but you're following up on it. Tell me what for you going to this preseason game tomorrow, Dolphins versus Commanders. We love to see a win, but it's not important for preseason. We don't care about wins, but we care about what they're doing on the field. What players are you watching tomorrow? Like what ones are you like, I got to watch how they do, and what position battles mean more to you? Like, what are you focused on tomorrow night?
Well, look, it is, people get a little twisted in a way. It is about winning. It's all about winning, but not the scoreboard. It's about player versus player, because the coach might say, hey, this guy struggles, in press drop, and I'm putting him in press drop on 3rd and 1 because that's his weakness, because I want to know. We don't know that. So the coaches, they kind of want to win, but they're more important. But it's more important for them to get evaluations and to figure out who they want and what it's going to look like, and guys, what they do in certain situations. So for me, it's what's the technique on a guy? What's his response to the situation? Who's he going against? Because that matters too. You know, you could have a second string DT going against your tackle or your guard, and you're like, oh, he's doing great. So it's matchups and how those matchups play out and all the little goodies that each player is doing. So for me, there's so many guys. I mean, you can go even back deep into the draft. For me, DJ Campbell's a big one. We need depth. I want to see Austin. I really want to see Jonah Savanaia, his technique. I swear, because I did big studies on it, I want to see his platform, his feet on a come off, his hands. It's huge. I want to see Patrick Paul, how he handles the in and out move, because he's getting beat a little bit on that. His feet are picked up, his shoulder balance, hip balance, drop of a hit, that's all improved. But the hands have been like all over the place. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. Then Proctor got beat on a swim by Sealer like 2 weeks ago. It was reported. Then he got beat by somebody else in scrimmage. And I saw another bit of film where I think it was the linebacker came crashing into him and then grabbed him by the jersey and pulled inside. So he's doing really well, but it's that inside move and it's in pass block that I'm looking at. I want to see Willis respond well. I want to see Ollie hold on to the ball. I want to see Ollie verse Wright, because I thought Ollie would be number 2. Well, he's number 3 on the depth chart. Is that motivation? I want to see Douglas with my own eyes. Whatever you say, I wasn't high as a kite on him, but this guy's popped from the first day of camp, and he's never had really a bad day. The journalists were raving about him from Washington. Is he able to keep this trend line going? Defense. I want to see Grant and his grandma chest hold up to the run defense. I want to see Phillips with his new look drop weight. Did he drop too much? Can he still hold up to get that speed in the one gap? That's big for me. Biggers. I want to see Biggers work. There's guys that are not going to be in here. I want to see J-Rod for the first time. I want to see Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis was popping in run defense, and that's going to be mass for him. He's going to be able to cover. It's that run defense. I want to see those guys. I want to see the Bona Rising. If he's more than just a camp hero. Because to me, from what Hafley was saying, talking about him being smart, quiet, hardworking, consistent, these are all core terms for him and his DB group. How does he respond? Marshall is uneven. We need him. Juju's not going to be in there. Who's working the back end? There's safety group. There is tons. And then you get back even deeper. I want to see Kasmarek. I want to see him block. I want to see him catch. I want to see Sadu. There is just, that's why I'm going to use my Princess Bride word, a plethora of not Princess Bride, the Three Amigos, a plethora of reasons that I want to watch this. And for me, you know, back in the day when I was really believing in the Dolphins, I'd watch games 12, 14 times in like slow-mo. And then as I knew what was going to happen, it dipped, you know, on the 10 and 6 and 5. And then I just couldn't stomach it. I'd have 2 or 3, and it wasn't really even slow-mo. This is back to my old style because there are I view football as a story, and each player is telling his tale. There's the whole of the team, but there's so many players and their journeys that I'm looking forward to studying. And I haven't felt that probably since Flores' last year and the first year McDaniel, and then it started evaporating. So, yeah, I could just keep going, man. There's infinite stuff to watch.
No, I could listen to you for hours, brother, because you're hitting the nails on the head. One thing I'll say here, Adrian saying Caleb Douglas looks like a number 1 in person. That's great to hear.
You see his shoulders? There was a picture I just noticed. You know, it was Chase, Douglas, and somebody else. I can't remember who else. But if you look at Douglas's shoulders, dude, he's got traps. He's got these wide shoulders. The guy's got a real physique. I mean, I'd like to see him get to about 210, you know, to 12. But at where he's at, this guy looks like he could be good, man.
And again, bringing that into camp, like he looks the part, but be able to translate that into what he's been doing at camp. And now hoping he can translate that onto the field. That's going to be amazing. Dull, you're not wrong. I understand. You're right. Curtis is right. We care about wins. We'll be excited for wins, but it's preseason. We go 4-0 in preseason and go 0-17 in the regular season. But again, what I'm saying is we care about what we're seeing in preseason with the players. But you're not wrong. Munraj, I saw your comment in there, my man. I'm so sorry. I'm going to get to it right now. Do you think they should move Malik Washington to a backup receiver and Tutu at number 2? Because Malik Washington wasn't good last year when he played. He only had 3 touchdowns that whole season. Bobby, what do you think? Again, I think it was either yesterday, not Tuesday, yesterday, that you saw that question. I did answer, but I'll just say very quick here. No. And why I'll say no right now, again, he has to earn his spot at number 2 or number 1 right now. I'll say Caleb Douglas is at the starter spot. Malik Washington, I think number 2 or number 1. He has to earn that spot. And if he's in that role right now, he's earned that role as of right now. I know I've heard a lot about him building a chemistry and a relationship with Malik Willis. That's important for a first-year quarterback in this new environment. And Malik Washington, who's done very good at returner, is a very talented receiver. I would not put too much stake into last year, Manraj, because again, he was behind guys who should be ahead of him, but really he probably should have got more opportunities. You had Jalen Wally with the injured Tyreek Hill, whatever. I think this is a year for him to show if he could be a guy who is more of a focal point in this offense. So, besides, this is the team, and I said this yesterday on Easter because SoFlo Sports Show, Lou, I believe, was saying that this team has a lot of question marks, which is true, but this is the year to have those question marks because this is the year you'll be able to see, hey, is this guy the answer to that question mark? Right, Curtis? Like if we go, man, we need a good, our secondary's weak. Okay, could Chris Johnson or Jason Marshall Jr. or Juju Brents, could those guys be the answer to our issues in the secondary? Or could Dante Trader be the answer to the issue we have, the question mark we have at safety? This is the year to do it because there's no expectations on winning. Yeah. Right. That, Troy Aikman said it today. It was revealed that Troy Aikman, they asked, is it going to be a problem for you this year to cover Miami Dolphins if you're basically working for the Miami Dolphins? And he said, no, because the Dolphins are not expected to be good. So I'm not going to be worried about calling their games. Hey, that's the truth. There is no expectations in regards of winning. The expectations are we're not going to win a lot of games. But so this is the year, Manraj, to see we know what Tutu Atwell is. We know what he could do. Right, he's a speedster. He can break some plays, and yeah, we're going to want to see him because it's going to want to win games. But we know what he is. We don't know fully what we have in Malik Washington. So I'm not going to really judge him on last year. I want to see what he can do this year. I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow. I appreciate that question. Sammy, what specific players, or position battles are you most looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Listen, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Last week I told you that I had to wait to see how they perform against other teams because until we face other teams, we maybe in the bubble play against each other, we didn't have a real grasp of how the team is really playing. Right now, it's all about the offensive line. USP, it has to be a defensive line because the wide receivers are not great. Malik is gonna need time to throw the ball. He's gonna need to be protected. They have to find a way to run the ball. The offensive line is gonna be the key for this team, and they had a lot of high draft because they were Savannah, according to the practices, I don't know, I see up and down, everything in between. He might have gone to factory settings and he was awful or he was okay. We'll have to wait to see what happens during the whole complete preseason. But I truly believe that the offensive line is the key. The offensive line is the only hope this team has of being better. Giving Malik Willis a time to throw, protecting him. It's Lane's time to stay in the pocket for wide receivers to get open deep because Malik Willis' arm allows you to throw deep balls compared to the quarterback we had before. And running the ball is going to be key. They find a way to open lanes for A-Chain. So it's the offensive line. The offensive line opens the whole game, the running game, the passing game. For me, especially is the offensive line. On defense, the secondary, the secondary is the key over here because I think that the defensive line is adequate. The linebackers are pretty good, but the secondary is going to be the key, and we don't know. So somebody has to have to step up If it's Chris Johnson, the rookie, someone has to step up and be, that cornerback that plays against the best wide receiver that the other team has. If we don't find that, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble during the season.
Fair enough. Daniel Tyler in the house. Great to see you, my man. What game are you watching, Daniel? Daniel says he's watching preseason tonight. What game are you choosing to watch? DSG, I love that answer. And I think that's a fair one. He's curious about the play calling. He's going to be watching that play call.
Are the Falcons playing tonight? Are the Falcons playing?
No, they play tomorrow.
Sorry, DSG. I would have watched.
DSG thought you were in on that whole who was starting for the Falcons. I posted that yesterday. I kept that in my East Entry boys. He's like, how did Sammy sneak that one in there? It wasn't Sammy. It was me. I put it there. Just saying, and that he's starting, and if anybody wants to see.
Yeah, I wrote stop it, but it was an X, so that probably DSC didn't see it. But I said stop it.
Stop it. Shout out though to everybody again watching Phins Talk today here on FTSN, powered by FTSN and Phins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. There you go. You got Cardinals versus Raiders.
I started watching the first 15 minutes of the Packers versus Steelers, but that play caller by the Steelers put me to sleep. Man, this is that boring. If you Daniel, as you're watching the Steelers game, I'm sorry, but you're gonna be bored to death. That narrator was awful, just awful.
Some actually good games tonight. I gotta check them out after this. Man.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of good games tonight to watch.
I want to watch the Raiders and see what they look like.
Mendoza, and Carson Beck. I mean, that's fun to watch. Especially if you're a Hurricanes fan, watching some Carson Beck, which I'm assuming that's why Adrian's watching. But again, you get to see Mendoza and Ashton Genty a little bit. So, and then of course, Kirk Cousins, right? So that's a cool one to watch. Let's first go ahead and move on here, and let's talk about the depth chart, at least the first one. And we don't expect this to stay the same, but still something to talk about. Here's the initial depth chart for the Miami Dolphins as they get into preseason game 1 against the Washington Commanders. And talking about Caleb Douglas, he is listed as a starting wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins in the first depth chart. Patrick Paul, rookie Caden Proctor, Aaron Brewer, Savanea, and Austin Jackson listed as your starting offensive line. Dolchitz at tight end, Malik Willis, of course, at quarterback, who is expected to play, I assume, a series tomorrow. Devon Achen, Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert at wide receiver 3. Then you got defense, Kenneth Grant, Zach Sealer, Chop Robinson, who's come to camp looking like a Martian. A beefed up Terminator Martian, and making some noise, being the most consistent. Actually, all the noise that we heard yesterday about Miami underperforming, I guess, against Washington, depending on who you listen to and who you believe, the one consistent was that Chop Robinson did very good against Washington yesterday. You got Joshua Uche at edge. You got Jordan Brooks, Dotson, and Jacob Rodriguez as your starting linebackers. Chris Johnson and Jason Marshall as your starting corners. Dante Trader, Lonnie Johnson Jr. at safety. And, of course, you round out with your specialists. Malik Washington listed as the returners for punt and kick. And you got long snapper Eddington, Bradley Pagnon as the punter, and Raleigh Patterson as the kicker. Start here with Curtis on this one. Curtis, my man, you look at this initial depth chart for at least the starter preseason. Does anything jump out at you? Anything surprise you?
Well, I would say it's not the starters so much, but the guys in the sec. Like, I was surprised that Wright was 2 and Ollie was 3. I was surprised that Salia, although he's not in yet, he's the backup left guard, and he's not anywhere sniffing out right tackle. I like to see Bonner. Bonner was in the second string, and I think that's a good thing. I enjoyed seeing Rodriguez and Dotson sharing, co-owning, starting linebacker. That says a lot. What else was out that I thought was interesting? Really, no. Look, Uche, he's injured, but he's considered a starter. He's out a couple of weeks. That's interesting. But, who else are they going to really play there? So I'm looking over this thing. I thought basically most of these guys, Lonnie Johnson, I'm not really high on, and he's considered a start. I wasn't big on that. But most of this stuff is kind of like expected. I don't think there's really much in a way of surprise for me at least. In the first string, it was like the second string is kind of oh, that's interesting.
Great point though too. That is something to point out. That is something that's one of the one of the position battles that I'm watching, and that is the running back battle behind Devon Achen. Jalen Wright is listed as RB2, Ollie Gordon RB3. Great point there too. Let's see here. Talking about backup offensive line, at least the right tackle. You have they got Charlie Heck or Caden Wallace listed behind right tackle.
You're boss bag on that one.
Yeah, they got DJ Campbell listed as number 3 in the right guard spot, or Caden Wallace. I'm going to butcher that name. I think it's Prebe, and it's the backup right guard. Andrew Myers, backup center, Sawyer, backup left guard, and Ayaduze as the backup tackle for Patrick Paul. Tutu Atwell's behind Caleb Douglas. And let's see here. Kevin Coleman, backup receiver to Malik Washington, and Jalen Reiger as the backup to Tolber. So I love that you bring up the backups there. Of course, Kaczmarek is sitting behind Dolchitz. I'm really intrigued to see what he is. And of course, the guy Troyer. I'm trying to pronounce that name.
Sadu, yeah, I say Sadu.
I think Sadu is really easy to say, but that's interesting. Zach Sealer, and here's the interesting thing with Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant is listed as the starter, but it's Kenneth Grant or Jordan Phillips. So that's a position battle to watch, And again, these Dolphins, it doesn't matter where you were drafted. If you don't outperform the guy behind you, you're not going to start. So that might be something to keep an eye on, because the depth chart says or. So we got Uche, you got Dotson and Brooks with Rodriguez. Let's see. Chop Biggers is behind Sealer. Ethan Bonner is right behind Juju Brents. And Juju Brents, Johnson, and Marshall are starters there. Chris Johnson's listed as the nickelback. And there you go. Yeah. So very, very interesting. I love that point. Sammy, my man, you look at this unit as of right now. Again, not set in stone. It could be changed. It could change tomorrow. But at least the initial depth chart, and obviously what the backups look like. Anything stick out to you? Anything surprise you?
The one thing that I'm kind of worrisome right now is, like, I look at the list, and let's go to the list and how many has been not injured, but health-wise. Go back to the roster, because I want to read the roster if you can, Bobby.
Go ahead.
Austin Jackson has been questionable. Dolchich has been questionable with an injury. Chris Johnson, Donton Trader, Jason Marshall, Uche. A couple of those guys. And Sealer right now is also kind of questionable. To start the season with so many guys who are supposed to be starters, with questions about health. I'm not saying they're injured, but they have to take some time. So there's something going with health. It's kind of worrisome, because we're expecting a lot from those guys, and if they're rested because they're being cautious, it's great. If they're having already health questions, it's really worrisome. So that was the one thing that caught me off guard. I see a couple of names right now that I'm not sure we're going to be able to count on when the season starts, because you're already having health questions. So it's interesting, that a couple of interesting names. I don't think, for example, Lonnie Johnson is going to be the starting safety by week 11. But by
might not be starting safety week 1.
Exactly. That's the point. I expect the youth purge should take over by the end of the season. You're gonna see a lot of guys that basically going to start the season, but they're not going to be the end of the season starters. So between that and the health, that's something that I'm very curious about.
And I'll say too, I think a point to bring up when you talk about, like, even Ollie and Jalen Wright, right? DSG says, man, if Jalen Wright is the second string and Ollie's the third, that's not good, because he doesn't believe Jalen's good enough. But again, this could be, especially when you see like Kenneth Grant, you look at the depth chart and you're like, Kenneth Grant or Jordan Phillips. That could be a way of the coaching staff telling the players, like, hey, your job is not secure. You need to do better. This is a way to put a fire under their asses. So to me, that's something to possibly read into it that could translate or leak into tomorrow, where how they perform. Does Kenneth Grant step up to make sure he locks that position battle down? Does Ollie Gordon, when the lights are on and the game's, the bell rings, does he play better than he does in practice, possibly, or training camp? That's really the key. Like Quinn Ewers and Cam Miller have done nothing, as far as I know, have done nothing to make you comfortable about the backup QB position right now. But could they make you comfortable by tomorrow? I mean, you would think Quinn Ewers was like, oh, I have an opportunity to possibly compete for the job. Now you don't. Now you're competing for the second job, and possibly you may end up with a third job. So that's something to look at when you look at these position battles, or even just who's listed on the depth chart. Daniel, thank you for the 2 jewels. Appreciate you. Again, don't know what they are, but we appreciate you. It's really nice of you. Thank you for the jewels, man. I appreciate you. We got 200 earlier, and you got a 2 now, or 100.
I don't know what that is, man. What's in the back?
Hey, man, I can get some jewelry. Cool. Spice it up. But no, Jordan Phillips has made a lot of noise, and again, how many people have we spoken to, or Curtis and etc., who said Jordan Phillips is the guy, man. This guy's a guy who came into camp last year and was turned a lot of heads. And now look what he's doing. He's going to push. He's pushing the first round pick, possibly out of the starting job, and rightfully so, if you cannot perform enough to keep it. That's and then Curtis, we talked about this on your show. We talked about this on Phins TV. That's what's exciting about this team. That's why I'm hyped on this team, because of the way they're doing this. It feels like, again, we don't know what it translates later, but at least right now, feels like it's being done right.
Oh yes, give me. I'm sorry, my cat's over here.
Oh, you're good, brother.
She's distracted me, man.
It's all good.
No, I would say with DTs is going to be rotation. You need rotation. Biggers is the guy I keep hearing from, that he can play up and down the line a little bit. Grant concerns me with the run defense, but I do think he'll work well in the one gap. I like Phillips. To me, the biggest concern is Sealer, because last year he got dinged in camp, missed time, and he struggled. Now, was that struggles because he was injured? Was his struggles because he didn't have a second DT next to him to take some of the weight off like Campbell did for those years? But now you got a second trend line. Dinged again, missing time. As Father Time caught up with him. He's one of my favorite guys, man. I was crazy when and I don't know why, because I really didn't know him, but I watched a little film when we got him on the waiver wire. And but his time catcher, and he's a big piece, because the leadership, the ability to affect the run and pass together. He's not one piece. Yeah, he could do both. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting there. We need him, because I don't want to see Grant, any Butler and Biggers and Phillips without Sealer. But another thing too is that Sealer is better in that 3-4-5 technique between the guard and tackle and outside. So you could get very often, Sealer, Grant, and Phillips. You could even see all 4 across the line in certain looks. So we just need Sealer, and I don't think it really matters. They're all going to get time. Phillips is going to come in on run downs more. Grant's going to come down in on pass downs more, and Steelers going to be balanced, and we'll see. Biggers is a guy I'm very interested to see too. Biggers.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about training camp feelings. Again, getting the opportunity. Shout out to all those who have attended training camp. Obviously the beat writers and other content creators, and for them sharing what they've seen and everything else. Sammy, just starting with you, from what you've heard and read and what you've seen, at least from your perspective, where you're at, what now that we're not past training camp, but now getting into the first game of the preseason. We've heard, got enough training camp. Where you stand on like where were you before? Like when you go, man, like you're saying, I'm concerned about that offensive line. Is there a position group or player that you may have been like, I don't know, that you feel differently now, or a player that maybe you were excited about, but now you're like, I'm a little off on it right now based off what we've seen or heard at training camp?
During the offseason, so many times from Phins Talk Today, so Phins TV during the season, we talked so many times about Charles Robinson. Charles Robinson, the spotlight was on him. The reports were that we gained weight. We had to see the explosiveness was there. If he was the player that he used to be, and every single day, reports are that he's up to par, even against the Commanders. So Larry Thompson didn't practice, but but he looked well. The reports are he looked well. He looks explosive. He's looking the part. So I'm encouraged about Chop Robinson because again, he's a first round pick, a lot of value in that. So I expect first round picks to play well. On the contrary, we also talk about Kenneth Grant. And Kenneth Grant, the other first round pick I told you before, I was kind of worried about him that he was being outperformed by Biggers, by Phillips, and I was kind of worried about if he had the hunger, the attitude, the killer instinct that is needed for the position. I've said it so many times before. I truly believe the defensive tackles take longer to develop. From Christian Wilkins to Paul Soliai and so many others during the history of the Dolphins. It took a couple of years. By year 2, Christian Wilkins was considered a bust. People have to remember Christian Wilkins was considered a bust, and he broke the bank when he left the Dolphins. So defensive tackles take a little while. So I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on Kenneth Grant. But I've told you before, my spotlight is on Kenneth Grant as a first-round pick. He has to find a way to crash out the lineup. And if you saw the depth chart, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that the depth chart said that it was either him or Steve Biggers or Phillips, either one of them. So it wasn't definitive that he's the starter. So it's kind of worrisome because, again, the spotlight are in those high draft picks. I know this regime had no attachment to any first round pick, not to Robinson, not to Grant. So they're gonna put the best player to play because they have no attachment to those guys. So it's still early. I'm not giving up on Kenneth Grant, but that biggest disappointment was that I was hoping for him to come into awesome shape with a new regime, with new coaches, and that led to probably turn around. But I wasn't sure that was going to happen. Right now, I'm still disappointed that has not been the case.
Good point. Good points all around there. I'll say too, again, for me, getting into training camp, I was really interested, in regards of watching how Savannah was going to do at the right guard spot. Like you said, up and down, but doing a lot better than what he was reportedly doing. Obviously, what he did last year at left guard, doing better in the natural position. I feel a little better about him or about what he could possibly be now that he's at his natural spot, but we still have to wait to see how he does in preseason, how he does in the regular season. But feel better about him now that he's back at his natural spot, and we've heard some good things from the coaching staff. In regard, for the running back position, obviously comfortable with Devon Anchin, never worried about that, nothing but that. But again, intrigued by the running back room, the backups. Again, I love Ollie Gordon. I love them coming out of college, and Jalen Wright as well. Jalen Wright, though, was a little more disappointing for me because I expect a little more from him. But to me, I feel worse on Ollie Gordon right now, because to me, this is right now, based off what we're seeing, I mean, again, he's put in the third spot. Jalen Wright has, based off reports, is about outperformed him. He's had some splashes, but he did so last year. But this is the year he has to show when he gets those opportunities, and I think he will get those opportunities. Do I think he's gonna have a bad year? No. But based off what we've been hearing and seeing in training camp, feeling a little worse off on that. Chop Robinson, a guy that many people in the comments and what we've discussed, Sammy, and was a guy that we were all watching, a guy we expect a lot more from, but a lot of people criticized his draft pick because he didn't have the stats. And I said, hey, he has the moves. If you watch the film, his skill set does not match what he's putting on paper. But his first year I thought was good. I was like, okay, I can't wait to see his second year. Second year was abysmal, but so was the whole Dolphins team. The whole Dolphins team was a bust. So I'm not worried about the second year. I'm worried about this year. And I'm going to tell you, that's what you want to see out of a player. You don't want to see a guy shrivel up and then, out of a new strength and, totally fail. He comes in amazing shape. He is every practice you're hearing his name in a positive spotlight. Shout out to Dahl of Dahl's Diaries of FTSN, who said that she noticed that his social media was shut down.
She called it.
She said it. And she said, what does that mean? Does it mean that maybe he got caught up in his feelings and didn't want to see social media, people talking trash, or did it mean that he put his head in the game? Well, based off the video and the pictures of him, looks like the freaking Terminator and, built like a truck and, freaking dominating at certain, like, you know what? It looks like Curtis, he's responding to what he's seeing and hearing from his coach and his general manager. He's like, I'm going to be in the best shape and I'm going to be the best player I could possibly be. So I feel a lot better about Chop. Kenneth Grant, somebody who's like, like you said, it takes a little while. First off, grade A human being, good guy. My son was sweet to my son. Great dude. I'm rooting for him 100%. He's a guy that I felt good about going into camp. I'm like, I think he'll be better in his second year, but it's not a good sign when your backup, who was drafted way later, is an or as a starter. It's like, oh, him or him. No, Kenneth, you should be the solidified starter. So that I'm feeling a little off about. Again, it's okay to feel one way or another. None of this is for sure or cemented until the final game of preseason, and we're going into the regular season when we know for sure who's won or lost. Tomorrow it's going to matter, right? If, a guy could be great in training camp and be a lame duck during the games. Ollie Gordon might be the third in line, but he could probably secure that number 2 spot right behind Devon Achane if he has a solid game tomorrow or the second game next week. So all interesting. Curtis, just the kind of the same question, my man. Like, we're like, based off where you were before going into camp, going, okay, like, I don't feel like Savonaya. You talk about Savonaya, like where you thought on him and he moved to that right spot. Is there any players or positions where you're like a little off on or a little good on, where maybe now after training camp, not after training camp, but now that we're getting to this first game, where you're saying, I feel better or I feel worse on this?
I would say the two biggest is Caleb Douglas and Sadu. Sadu, I thought he was just going to be a flyer because he's like, European player, but he's making real push to make the team. And that was a shock to me, a big shock. Trey Moore, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't fully understand it because I don't really watch college, but he's going to have lots of reps. He's going to get time. He could push Willie Gay out the joint. That was a shock to me. I would say those are the 3 biggest shockers. As far as what I want to focus, I got to focus on the right side of the offensive line. I like the left side, but you can't play with one side. And the talk was the right side sucked against Washington. And I'm not a big believer in Jackson. I'm certainly not a believer in Caden Wallace, and ain't no heck am I a fan of heck. So I'm waiting for Salia. I'm desperate for Salia because I really think he could take that spot, but he's got some kind of eye injury. I didn't know what it was. I saw Reason talk about it. He confirmed to show me the picture like on the X thing. An eye is bad news. I mean, it's good because it's not like, torn this, but an eye, who the heck knows? And he's been out for 2 months. To me, Salia is a guy that can really help us. I'm not saying he's great, but I'm saying he's better than heck Wallace or Jackson. He might end up being better than Jonah. I just pray Jonah does average because I really want that right tackle spot is a huge void. It's like a Jesse Davis void almost. I mean, Jackson's better, but he's oft injured and he's not much better. I mean, Davis was a guard that they wanted to go cheap on and force him to tackle. And then they put him next to with Dieter and Eichenberg, Austin, whatever. I can't remember who they had back then. It was terrible. I think it was Jackson, maybe his first year at left guard with Dieter. Yeah, it was terrible, So Jackson, I think I like him to stay healthy, but it's that right side of the offensive line. Obviously, cornerbacks, but I can't really tell. The safety group got torched. TD was talking about they're getting killed by crossers. So really the biggest – listen, this right side of the offensive line is either going to drain us down the tubes because, or we're going to get some help there. I just don't know where we're going to find it other than Salia.
And that's where, I think you bring a good point. Obviously, with Caden Proctor, how does he do at left guard? Is it to a point where he does so damn well, which the chemistry that's being built between him and Patrick Paul, even Aaron Brewer, that left side, you're not worried about. I mean, you feel pretty good. And, Proctor's in a great position because he's next to Patrick Paul and Aaron Brewer. That right side is the issue where, of course, everybody's natural instinct is, oh, well, if the right tackle sucks or it continues to struggle, just put Caden Proctor out there, but he's trying to learn to play the pro game. You keep him there, you see how it goes. Now, if it's not working and you have an issue at right tackle, then you move him to right tackle and you got 2 bookends on both sides of the football. I think for me, in regard to the right side, I'm with you at Austin Jackson. You can't depend on him. You can't rely on him. And even when he's out there, he's not good. I mean, he could be okay. He's a plug-in starter. He should be your backup guy. And when you get an injury, you plug him and you're good. You're like, okay, I could have him for a couple games. We're set. Like, he's not like a terrible player. He's not awful, like Brett says there. He's not awful, Brett. Brett, of course, co-host of Overtime, will be back shortly on FTSN. But he shouldn't be your starter because you can't depend on him. He can't stay healthy. And he shouldn't be your long-term starter because he can't protect too good. He makes too many errors. So he could be your plug-in starter. Salvonea, again, I'm going to say it again, I have faith in him. I liked him coming out of college. He should have been at the right spot the whole time. They put him at left guard. Blame the damn head coach. We had a bozo head coach and coaching staff last year. We had a coach staff that put him back in his natural position. We'll see how it goes this year. Is he going to be great? I don't know. But as long as he plays decent enough, we're okay there. And we'll see what happens at the end of the year, because I'm with you. If right tackle, the right area, the right side of the offensive line is not great, there's not many options to fix it right now. It's going to be have to like just try to survive the season, and then let next year in the draft or wherever trying to figure out how to fix those last spots in the offensive line. First off, before we get into keys to the game, which would be for the pre-game show, we talk about keys to victory, but right now we're talking about keys of the game. Before we get into keys of the game, I want to talk about something that's very important. First off, shout out to everybody watching Phins Talk today, live on Phins Talk Sports Network, powered by FTSN and Phins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. If you're a Canes fan, a Dolphins fan, Florida Panthers, Marlins, Heat, anything South Florida sports, go check out Caneswear, caneswear.com if you're anywhere other than South Florida. But if you're in South Florida, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, go check out Caneswear. Brett and the crew, great gear, great merchandise, great deals, great prices. Also, Caneswear TV, man, they continue to grow. They're killing it. Miami Hurricanes content on Caneswear TV. But again, if you're in Puerto Rico like Sammy, or in Nashville like me, or Delaware like Brett, or Canada like Vinstanza, you want Caneswear merch, you want to get some gear from them, you can go to caneswear.com. They're quick to ship, and their great customer service is unbelievable. So check out Caneswear. Before we move on to keys to the game, want to talk about something that's very important. Okay, and it's in February, so we got time, but I'm doing my 4th Dolphins Cancer Challenge. Dolphins Cancer Challenge, DCC, is in its 17th year. Let me pull this up right now as I'm talking. That way you guys can. Yeah, man, I'm excited. What's really cool about it? Obviously, the mission itself, right? We've all had, we've all had cancer impact us one way or another, whether a friend, family, or ourselves. Again, I've had family members battle cancer, die from cancer. Friends that real close friends of mine, coworkers who passed away from cancer, and their names are on the back of those t-shirts. Another awesome thing, besides the mission of fighting cancer, is that my 9-year-old son has now taken up that mantle, and he did the 5K last year with me and raised money, and did not take any shortcuts or any breaks. He went the whole way through. I asked him this year, I was like, I was so proud of him. He was so excited. He met Malik Washington, Taj Washington. He met Kenneth Grant, Patrick Paul. Unbelievable guys. They were quick. They got to his level. They showed interest. It was really cool to see. But I asked, I didn't expect him really to jump at the chance, because it is hard. First of all, putting yourself out there to ask questions and try to see to help raise money for a kid, but also to do this 5K. And so when I said, hey son, I'm planning on doing this again. Or do you want to do this? You don't have to. He's, of course, Dad, of course. So he's already doing it. That's what I'm most proud of in as personally, but also, again, what we've done as a team. The Worldwide Dolphin Fans, which is, get great team leads, and Ian Berger, our beloved big brother in the Phins community, Big E. You got 305 Sports Babe, Ashley leading as well. And what we were able to do, again, this is in its 17th year, my 4th year on the team, my 4th year doing this, raised over $100 million. We went over that $100 million mark last year. All this money goes to, it doesn't split, doesn't go like, oh, okay, 100 million, 50% goes to cancer research, 20% goes here. No, it all goes to the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center for cancer research to fight cancer. With our team, what our team did last year, we contributed up to $50,000 of the $18 million raised last year alone to get us over that $100 million as a whole. DC 17, just first off, participating is humbling. It's a great experience. It's something that everybody has had impact us one way or another. And so as we prepare for this challenge, we want to surpass $50,000 from our side, right? We want to get over that 18 million. We want to do 20 million. We want to do 60, 70,000. We want to do that because nothing's more important than getting rid of cancer. Cancer sucks. Any type of cancer. It sucks for the person dealing with it. It sucks for the people, the families dealing with it. And so my request for you guys out there is to join us on this fight. And what does that mean? How could you do that? Well, of course, you can donate. No matter the size, $5, $10, $1, 20, 100, whatever your heart says to donate, all of it matters. All of it's appreciated. It will all go directly to the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, and all of it's tax deductible. What else can you do? Hey, look, you can't donate. That's okay. Life happens. Share it. Share the barcode. Scan it. Share it to your friends. Say, hey, let's donate. Or register. You don't have to be in South Florida to do this. You could do this virtually. You could do this from home. You could do the walk. You could raise money. You could be a part of this. You don't have to be in South Florida to do this. I'm in Tennessee. Of course, I got family in Florida. But I'm in Nashville. And one year I couldn't do it. I couldn't go down there and do it. I had to do it from here. And I did. I went to the trek, the hike, and I went and did the three whatever miles. And I did that. So you don't have to be in South Florida. But you could do one of those three things. There's no reason why you shouldn't. You have three options. You could donate, which is greatly appreciated. You could share this to your friends and family and your followers, whatever. Or you could participate. So again, if you can't scan right now, you could scan that barcode, of course, to donate if you want to, or you could go to my Twitter and it's pinned there. But this is something that's very important. Again, just so excited for my son and I to do this again. I'm proud that my son wants to do this and he's picked that up. Moving on. Sorry, guys, took up some of that time there, but
it's great stuff, brother.
So moving on now to keys to the game. Okay. And, obviously we could talk about keys to victory. What can the Dolphins do to get victory for tomorrow? But again, I don't want to piss off Doll. I don't want to say winning is not important for tomorrow, but let's talk about something more that you want to see tomorrow. One or two things that you want to see from like play calling, the type of play calling like DSG says, but what would you like to see tomorrow? Curtis, I'll start with you. 3 things, 1, 2, 3 that you watch tomorrow, like win or lose, you come away going, I'm happy they did that, or I'm happy this player did this.
I would say, look, Caden Wallace was one of the moves that Sullivan made I wasn't happy with. Slowick was another. I believe that he can get better. I wasn't really happy with him with Texans, and then I did some research on him. But Hafley loves him. I want to see what kind of calls we're calling. Are we calling inside zone balance with outside zone? Are we still in the heavy outside zone? What are the looks? One of the things that I heard from Slowick is he doesn't let the quarterback call the protections. They call from the offensive line. Now, that's what he did with the Texans. I'm looking to see who's calling out protections. Is Willis going to be there calling out? Is he still running the old style where the offensive line calls it out? Chris Sims did a really good show on it and talked about he had coach that did that, and he said it made him tentative because you didn't know who was picking what because the offensive line was calling. So that's a big piece of the puzzle for me. Defensively, I'm interested to see because Hafley runs one of the highest mixed zone coverages. I think it was like 7th, cover 2 and cover 3 mix. I can't remember the numbers. And so I want to see what calls he makes. He's not going to call anything probably exotic, although Washington was supposedly calling a lot of exotic stunts on us. So I want to see how Hafley calls his defense, but how does he call a defense while handling the HC job? I watched Mike McDaniel. He couldn't get plays in on time, and he looked like, he was more concerned about his shoes than anything else. How the players reacting on the sideline, on the bench? What's their demeanor? What's the spirit behind the team? Yeah, it's only preseason, but what are they doing in the background when they're not in, when they are in and they walk off? So that would be some of the things that I'm looking for.
Sammy?
The first thing that comes to mind is I want to see how many seconds are left on the clock when they're set up to to be ready to snap the ball. Because one of the things that drove me nuts with the previous regime was that 30 seconds, 25 seconds, 15 seconds, and they're still talking. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, and they're basically rushing to the huddle, and 5 seconds to see the coverage because they lost so many seconds in translation when they do the call, and then the motions goes and the penalty snaps the play. So it was really annoying at times. I want to see cohesiveness. I want to see an offense that's decisive, that goes to the huddle, and by 12 seconds of the clock, they're ready to set. They're ready to hut and call the play and run the play. I don't want to see so much movement. I want to see simply a simplified offense with decisiveness. So that's what those things I want to see, and I want to see a defense that is hungry, a defense that is physical. I know it's a preseason game, but those things happen. I'll be very, very, very happy with.
Perfect. You guys are like ding, 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 hitting all the nails on the head. I mean, my goodness, it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make nope. Oh, never mind. I got took. Oh, nope. So I'm not gonna repeat. I mean, I think it's all the nail. Like, again, I love it all, right? And we want to see what the play calls and how fast it gets in. Malik Willis, again, yes, it was easy for them to see him in Green Bay, but again, I don't think he was signed just because he played in Green Bay. I think he was signed because they saw how he worked, how he put in the work, and as he competes and everything else. And they're like, that's the guy we want to be in here. Because if they didn't sign, that would be like there's something up with there. But they did. But it should be easy enough. He knows the offense. He knows the staff. He should be able to get the calls in quick and be able to manage that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward, again, seeing those young receivers. I want to see them put in good spots. Get the ball out. Let's see, Kevin Coleman, he's one of those guys, and he did it in training camp or in mini camp, one of those where, catch the ball short, break for a big play. I want to see those guys spotlighted. I want to see them getting those opportunities. I want Manraj to be a believer in Malik Washington by the end of preseason. I want to see them put Malik Washington in a spot where after training camp and preseason, Curtis and Sammy, where Manraj is like, hey, number 1, number 2 guy, no more Tutu Atwell. I want Malik. You got to spotlight these guys. Let them get a chance to shine. Let them get a chance to win that spot. And again, major key for me, something I would love to see. We hear a lot of noise on Chop. I want to see that. I want to see a play or two here. We hear a lot of noise on Kenneth Grant. Hey, Kenneth Grant, your first round pick. People are starting out. There's a lot of more non-believers than believers. You got to make the crowd a believer. Come away with a couple plays where we're like, hey, did you see Kenneth Grant blow past that guy? Blow that guy up? That's what I want to see. I want to see something secondary make a play. I want to see Chris Johnson, Jason Marshall, Juju Brents. I want to see the secondary. I want to see Dante Trader. I want to see a big play, whether it's a pass breakup, staying on top of a guy without getting pass interference, or an INT would be great. Just a couple spotlight plays. And again, which is huge. Sammy, you said this, and I believe DSG said it too. Let me go back to comments very quick. No pre-snap motions. Don't waste time. Just go. So, again, tomorrow, the real deal, Evander Holyfield. The real game is tomorrow night. Dolphins at Washington taking on the Commanders. Preseason game 1. New president, new GM, new coach, new QB, new era of Miami Dolphins football. It's finally here. If you love Dolphins content, do me a favor, subscribe to FTSN, Phins Talk Sports Network, right here if you're watching on YouTube, before or after the show. Make sure you're following and subscribe Phins TV. Ace per head. Make sure you're doing that. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not subscribed to Ace per head. Also, Rainy Day Podcast. Make sure you subscribe there. And the SoFlo Sports Show as well with Lou and Ashley, who are also traveling with the team this year. Not with the team, but, fans and they're doing a lot of great stuff with the 305 Sports Travel go check that out as well. If you want to go travel the team or meet up, see where they're going, go see them. I think Ashley got a really cool 305 Sports Bay for 305 Sports Travel. Got a real cool thing for Lambeau Field. They're going to go, they think there's packages that she was able to book where I think it's like $100, $99 that you get the tour Lambeau Field, historic Lambeau Field, if you're traveling to the game. So things like that. Make sure you're following them though. You got to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that type of stuff. Other than that, if you're subscribed to the channel, guess what? Phins content doesn't end here. We're going to be right back here tomorrow, post-game, for a preseason post-game show to talk about everything we saw. Now we got eyes on the prize, Curtis. Sammy, no more guessing. No more going, oh, well, I heard so-and-so. Omar said this. Oh, Mondo said that. Or, oh, so-and-so said this. No more of that. Now we go, did you see what happened there? Did you see what that guy did? He didn't look good there. He looked great there. It's all for real tomorrow. Curtis, my man, any final thoughts for wrap this one up?
Nah, just looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to dig into the tape to try to get a better view of this, man. I'm just excited, man. There's not really to say. Let's just see it. Let's see how it plays out. Let's hope the guys we want to do well, that no one gets injured, and we win. Let's go get the trifecta.
100%. Sammy, woo! My man, Phins TV.
I appreciate being here, guys, man. I enjoy it. I really do. I want to say I'm grateful for coming on.
Oh, always great, Curtis. I love you. I'm coming to this game with a little ball mentality. When the kids are playing, I just hope that everybody has fun and nobody gets hurt. That's all I want. I want that little league mentality. Everybody have fun. No one gets hurt. Let's survive this game without one of those injuries that basically carries through the whole season. And if that happens, I'll be more than satisfied. It's preseason. I just cannot wait for the season to start. I don't want to compromise anybody by getting hurt. So if that happens, I'll be for them.
And very quick, Phins TV is off next week. You guys are back on the week after, right?
The week after, yes.
There you go. Phins TV. Again, if you want to see what Phins TV is all about, go check out the last episode of Phins TV. The graphics, but not just the graphics. The graphics are awesome, and Sammy kills it. But it's the show itself, the panel, the topics, and everything Dolphin fans are thinking about, talking about. Sammy has it covered with Steve, Sherry, and the crew. Can't beat it. Go check them out. Again, Dolphins football is real tomorrow. Finstanza will be live tomorrow night on postgame with Sammy and myself. So make sure you like and subscribe. Dolphin fans, it's real. It's time. Thank you for watching the flagship show. I'm Bobby Finstock. That's Fin Sammy. That's Curtis Ace per head. Like and subscribe. Most importantly, as always, hands up. Peace.